What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. Today I want to explain to you why the PlayStation 5's SSD makes it the superior machine when it comes to next gen, even though it has less raw power than the Series X. And not only that, but why, in my opinion, it's the only true next generation console launching this year. We've heard Mark Sweeney talking up the SSD in the PlayStation 5. Then we heard developers praising the SSD in the PlayStation 5 as being a quote-unquote game changer. But when you mention that, the Xbox fanboys come back with, "They were all Sony devs, bro. That shit don't count." Then you have third-party devs praising the SSD. And what do they say? "So what, your games load like a little bit faster? We got 12 teraflops, yo." Not understanding that the SSD tech in the PlayStation 5 goes far beyond load times. Then yesterday, we had the Unreal 5 engine tech demo running in real time on PlayStation 5 hardware. And it was the first time we've seen anything running on next-gen consoles that actually felt like it was next generation. And the SSD in the PlayStation 5 was a big part of that. But Xbox fanboys would be quick to say, "Well, if it looks good on PlayStation 5, it's gonna look even better on Series X. 12 T-flops, yo!" But not so fast. Let me read a few quotes from Epic CEO Tim Sweeney in an article from The Verge. When talking about the PlayStation 5, he said, "It has an immense amount of GPU power, but also multi-order bandwidth increases in storage management that's going to be absolutely critical. It's one thing to render everything that can fit in memory, but a much more impressive feat to render a world that might be tens of gigabytes in size almost instantaneously, as Sony's new console and its M.2 solid-state drive are promising." We've been working super close with Sony for quite a long time on the storage. The storage architecture on the PS5 is far ahead of anything you can buy on anything, on PC, for any amount of money right now. It's going to help drive future PCs. The PC market is going to see this thing ship and say, "Oh wow, SSDs are going to need to catch up with this." The article on The Verge would go on to say that Tim Sweeney and the engineers at Epic are using the consoles themselves. Sweeney says the two companies have been working closely together during the development of Unreal Engine 5 and the PlayStation 5, ensuring that Epic's game development toolsets for developers creating next-gen titles is optimized for the hardware the software will ultimately run on. The Unreal Engine 5 demo that was released yesterday was even running on an early build of the PS5. Then we have some more Tim Sweeney goodness in an IGN article. Here Tim Sweeney says, "The PS5 puts a vast amount of flash memory very, very close to the processor. So much that it really fundamentally changes the trade-offs the games can make and stream in, and that's absolutely critical to this kind of demo. This is not just a whole lot of polygons in memory, it's also a lot of polygons being loaded every frame as you walk around through the environment, and this sort of detail you don't see in the world would absolutely not be possible at any scale without these breakthroughs that Sony's made." Let me say that one more time just in case you didn't get it. "And this sort of detail you don't see in the world would absolutely not be possible at any scale without these breakthroughs that Sony's made." I think it's important that we emphasize that. Sweeney would go on to say that Sony's storage architecture is far ahead of the best SSD solution you could buy on PC today, and it's really exciting to be seeing the console market push forward the high-end PC market. The PlayStation 5 is going to be pushing high-end PCs, which is the exact opposite of the way it normally is. Normally the high-end PCs push the consoles, but this time around, the PlayStation 5's SSD is so amazingly badass, it is going to be pushing high-end PCs. I think it's important that we take in what Tim Sweeney's saying here. Basically, the Unreal Engine 5 tech demo we saw yesterday is only possible on PlayStation 5. Yes, Xbox Series X and even PC will both be able to use Unreal Engine 5. Yes, they'll both be able to make environments like the ones we saw in yesterday's tech demo. But neither of them can run the demo we saw yesterday, because that tech demo was made taking full advantage of the architecture and hardware inside of the PlayStation 5. And both PC and Xbox Series X, no matter how many teraflops you give them, can keep up with the speed of the PS5. And that's just a fact. In particular, this area here where she's flying through the environment. Notice there's no pop-in, there's no loading, because the PlayStation 5 can load that data blinding fast. Look at all the details in the texture, that's a lot of information. But the PlayStation 5 is able to move all that information. I can't remember who, but there was someone from Sony who was talking about Spider-Man PS4 and talking about how they had to put limitations on the speed at which Spider-Man could swing through the city. because if he was able to swing any faster, the game literally could not keep up with you and would not be able to load the city fast enough. They had to put limitations on how fast you could move. PlayStation 5 is removing those limitations. And yes, Xbox Series X is also removing some of those limitations, but not in the same way or to the extent that PlayStation 5 is. Now, don't get me wrong, the Xbox Series X is both a powerful and impressive machine, but it is an evolutionary machine. It is an evolution of the Xbox One X. Better CPU, more powerful GPU, faster storage device, an evolved Xbox One X. But the PlayStation 5 is not an evolutionary machine, it is a revolutionary machine. It's not just giving us a better CPU, more powerful GPU, and faster storage device. It is fundamentally changing the way in which games are going to be made. Not only that, it is pushing the industry forward. It is pushing the industry. The Xbox Series X is not pushing the industry forward. It is not advancing the industry. It's moving forward within the industry, but it's not moving that goalpost at the end. PlayStation 5 is moving the goalpost. It is advancing the industry forward. And that's why, in my opinion, it is the only true next generation console. Well, that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with me that the PlayStation 5 is the true revolutionary console this generation? Or do you think the SSD is all smoke and mirrors and the T-flop count is all that matters? Let me know in the comments, and as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next Supernova.